Hi everyone, so this is another Top 5 Wednesday, and this is for your favorite science fiction and fantasy in other media, so media outside of books, I guess TV shows, movies and such. I will link the Goodreads group down below, and I feel like for this one I chose basic ones, like I chose ones that everyone knows about for the most part, because I'm not super into, I like it. I have not had much contact, I guess, with different types of science fiction and fantasy. So I don't know really underground movies and TV shows and such. So especially the first ones in this list will seem like really obvious and like everyone has heard of them and everyone likes them and such. But anyway, number 5 is possibly the most obvious one, and it is Supernatural. This is a fantasy, it is really a fantasy TV show. Basically it was about, it is, I think it's still running, I'm pretty sure, but it's about two brothers, and initially the plot was about them not having lost their father. Like, he wasn't dead, but they didn't know where he was and they were trying to find him, and then the plot changed to be about different things as different things happened. And basically, I don't want to spoil too much, but this isn't about what I don't like about the shows, but just in case you're wondering, I don't really watch this show anymore. I think that the best seasons were, I would say, 1, 2, 5, I think it was, especially the first 3 or 4 or so. They were really just intense and extreme, and you really felt like the characters were in real danger. And there was humor, really emotional moments, but they were also really, some of them were really intense and kind of difficult to watch. So the series really had it out for me. And I know some people say that even the first seasons weren't that good, and some people say that they just turned bad after 5, and some people say that since the angels and such it hasn't been that good. I think I preferred it when demons were the main enemy of the show. I feel like after a while they kind of became not so threatening. So yeah, I do like the show, like I said. I just don't watch it that much now, so it's number 5. And I do, or at least I did, have a crush on I still do really have a crush on the main characters. Everyone did, and everyone does, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, number 4 is Invader Sim, another really obvious one. I actually have not to brag, but I have the complete collection of this whole series. I feel like such a 2007 scene girl when I say this, but it's just so good. I'm sorry, but it's just something that ages well, and in the sense that when you're a child it's entertaining and it's fun, but when you're an adult, people say this a lot about cartoons and such, but when you're an adult you just don't have the same view of it, and it's almost even better. And it has a very particular type of humor that I have not seen in cartoons in a while. It's really kind of bitter. It makes fun of itself, and it's something that I like a lot. Every episode I think is really great. I know that it was cancelled, but honestly it's better to have it cancelled than have like the seasonal rot thing where it just gets worse and worse and the name of the cartoon itself is kind of tainted, so to speak. So yeah, that's number 4. Number 3 is the X-Files, and this is another series. The bottom 3 are all series. But the X-Files I started watching more or less recently. I think I started watching it in 2016 or 15. The thing about the X-Files, it's actually kind of strange to me how it's so high, considering that it has kind of like, I think that the series itself is kind of hit and miss. There's episodes that I remember with a lot of fondness. I really liked them and they were really nice and entertaining, and there was a lot to get from them. And there were some episodes that were really, really boring and just nothing happened really, and they just weren't that interesting. And then they had like a couple seasons where the main character wasn't even there, and it wasn't really about them anyway. It wasn't about the main characters anyway. Like, this story just wasn't. I know some people say that those episodes were really good, but I just never felt like watching them because of that. you take the two main characters out and then you introduce two other ones that are supposed to replace them. Like, it's not that easy, you know. But anyway, the X-Files, like I said, it's a really long series. I don't know how I managed to watch all of it because I'm not really a serious person anyway. You kind of have to pick the episodes that other people tell you are the best, I guess. I think I made a list for a friend where I listed all the good ones and also all the ones that have to do with the main plot of the story, which are called the mythology episodes, I think. And those are tend to be really good ones too. So basically the ones that have to do with the main plot and also some of the monster of the week ones, and some various ones also tend to be pretty good. So I just like the X-Files a lot. I mean, for some reason I developed an attachment to it. I think it's mainly because it's so long, and when you watch a series for very long, you just kind of get attached to it anyway. I do realize it's not one of the best ones out there. I'm sure there's better series that I just don't really sit down to watch. And also my attention span for series is not super great. I mean, sometimes I watch like 3 episodes of one and then I stop, or like just the pilot episode and then I stop. It has to stop. But anyway, number 2 is Donnie Darko. So it is a movie. People know this mainly for being like a hipster kind of pretentious thing, or so, you know, so they say. So I'm not gonna sit down here and pretend that I understand Donnie Darko. I guess I get it, but oh my god, I've been using so many quotation marks around this video, but I mean, I had to Google like what happened in the movie or what's going on in order to understand after I watched the movie, obviously. But it was still an experience, and watching it a second time after you get it is even, it's obviously different, and it's really enjoyable to watch it in it anyway. And it just hit me really hard because it has a really strong ending and even a strong beginning, really. And it all feels hopeless from the beginning, but it's still interesting. It still keeps you watching and really caring what happens to the main character because he is really three-dimensional and other things that happen feel quite real. It's one of those movies that I guess you just have to pay attention, and in my case, even if I paid attention, which I did, I didn't really get it. I was really confused at the ending. I mean, I had liked the movie, and I still like. I guess I still like the experience of watching the movie, but I wasn't quite understanding what was going on behind it. I don't think anyone really got it just from watching it once at least. So that's number 2. And number 1 is actually kind of strange to talk about because it is not like a movie, TV show, or anything like that. It is actually an album. This is a fantasy album, if I had to put it in a certain category. This is Iron Maiden's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And this is a concept album, right? So I'm not just... I mean, the fact that this is in my last video is kind of like, it might feel to you like I'm just forcing this if you have also watched the last one, but I feel like this does belong here. It is a concept album based on the story by Orson, whatever his name is, or I guess the person who Booktube doesn't want to talk about, and I personally don't really like. His book on Seventh Son, I think the book itself is called Seventh Son, and then I think they based this album off of that novel. It's not very specific with the lyrics. I mean, you can tell that it's about that. But what I like about this album is mostly on the music itself and not so much the lyrics. So I guess it does feel a little forced to have it here. But in any case, it is a fantasy themed album. And I really love it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. Probably like top 4 or 5. And it is, heavy metal from the 80s. This album is from 1988. And it's just amazing. I really think you should listen to it if you haven't. Even if you think that you're not into this type of music or anything like that, at least give it a listen. I think it's just listening to the whole album, like front to back, is really an experience for me. It just gets you so many places here and there, and I don't know how to explain it otherwise because I'm not like a music critic and I don't really know much about music theory, like I said in my previous video. But I think this is quite, because you know what people usually talk about, like the best albums of all time or whatever. It's such a general idea that this is never really mentioned. I guess also because it's a particular genre and it's not like something. I mean, there's nothing particularly extreme about this. I mean, I know it's metal, but it's not. It's kind of soft in comparison to other stuff that you'll find. So, you know, I think everyone should give it this a listen. And yeah, this is, I guess, my favorite piece of media when it comes to science fiction and fantasy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was pretty fun to make, and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye.